做起来，来，哇，OK 了。
Mic testing, mic testing, mic testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. May I request all of you to please be seated? We'll be starting soon. Okay. Patrick, can you get all of them outside to come in?
My brother Hussein.
Hi, BP.
No, I'm not VP. I'm chairman of ABC.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
You're running for political office?
No. We joined together as one political party. Ano post? Karamihan sa amin. Ano post? Governor down.
Your son is the one who ran for mayor.
The mayor is my nephew. The vice mayor is my nephew. And one of my son is also running for councilor. Ano post? Ano post? Hulo Capital.
Very good. How about my friend Ben Loong? Where is he?
He is now the Deputy Minister for the local government of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
The farm. Okay.
Barm.
How are you? Hey.
Hi everybody, hi, happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan. From Indonesia.
Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, please settle down. We'll be starting shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of our guest of honor, Yang Berbahagya, Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima, Pandikar Amin Haji Mulia, Sabah State Government Special Envoy to Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East Asian Growth Area. Please be seated. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Pandikar Amin Haji Mulia, our guest of honor, JCI Senator Datuk Dr. Marcus Mojigo and his lovely spouse Datin Elizabeth, JCI Senator Sakinolin Mohammed, our organizing chairperson, JCI Senator Jin Tan, Deputy President from Singapore. Allow me to start this beautiful morning with a quote from Dalai Lama. He said, "The purpose of our lives is to be happy." Distinguished guests, fellow senators and friends, may I invite all of you to look at the person sitting next to you and greet one another a happy morning. Indeed, this is a happy moment for the organizing team to actually have this event in motion after all the uncertainties since they started planning this event. On behalf of the hosting country, Malaysia, and its members, I wish you all a warm welcome to the ASEAN Installation Ceremony and Business Forum. A special welcome to all our members who have logged in virtually this morning from their respective countries. We have two parts to this morning's event. First, the installation program, and immediately followed by the business forum. It is said that your smile is a signature of God on your face. So keep smiling. And once again, a warm welcome and a happy morning to this event. I am Joseph Celestin, your talk host for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, let us come together to sing the patriotic musical composition that evokes the history, traditions, and hope of all Malaysians. It is our right and duty to show our patriotism. Let us join together for our national anthem, Negaraku, followed by our state anthem, Sabah Tanah Airku. Please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. The year was 1946. It was that year that the concept of a JCI creed was born. The actual writing of the creed took place in July 1946 during a drive from William Brownfield's hometown of Columbus, Ohio, to his coal mine in New Lexington, a journey of 75 minutes. He started that journey with a firm conviction in his mind to work on the creed. It was during this trip that he came up with the JCI creed. And later in 1950, the first line, "We believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life," was added to the creed. Since then, all JCI members worldwide recite the creed at all their meetings and functions. In keeping with that tradition, may I invite our gorgeous and friendly Secretary General, Senator Ivy Stanislaus, to lead us in the recitation and carry out her protocol duties. JCI Senator Ivy, please.
Thank you, MC, JCI Senator Joseph Celestine of JCI Kota Kinabalu. Good morning. My fellow JCs on site and those on virtual, let us recite the JCI Creed in unison. I'd like to invite my fellow JCs on site to please rise. We believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life, that the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nations, that economic justice can best be won by free man through free enterprise, that government should be of laws rather than of men, that a great treasure lies in human personality, and that service to humanity is the best work of life. Thank you. Please be seated. At this juncture, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of ASEAN officers and past officers. I'd like to recognize the presence of the incoming President, JCI Senator Dr. Marcus Mujigo, Deputy President, JCI Senator Jean Tan from Singapore, and his Board of Directors from Singapore. Please rise and be recognized. Past JCI Vice President, past ASEAN Foundation Secretary, and current Presidential Special Assistant, JCI Senator Datin Dorin Asia Azlan. Past JCI Vice President, Secretary General, and currently the Chairperson for the Social, Enterprising, and Entrepreneurship Development, JCI Senator Patricia Poh. And a man that has been the instrumental in pulling through ASEAN. I'd like to recognize the second president of ASEAN and the first president of ASEAN from Malaysia, JCI Senator Dato' Aaron Pang. Also like to recognize the lovely lady in red, past Vice President and past Secretary General and currently the organizing chairperson, JCI Senator Sakinauddin Muhammad. I'd like also to recognize on site those ASEAN officers who have served with integrity and tirelessly towards the association. We recognize you here. And now I'd like to recognize those on virtual, recognize the presence of our Charter President, JCI Senator Rene Florencio from Philippines. JCI Senator Datuk Sri Derek Goh from Singapore. JCI Senator George Chu, Malaysia. JCI Senator Alberto Phoenix, ASEAN Business Committee Chairman. Vice President Indonesia, JCI Senator Ito Baryomanto. Vice President Singapore, JCI Senator Linda Thian. Our General Legal Counsel, JCI Senator Mayor Hussein Amin. Vice President Thailand, JCI Senator Dechat Panikul. Immediate past President, JCI Senator Parindungan Purba, Indonesia.
Good morning.
Treasurer and past Vice President, JCI Senator Josephine Loka from Philippines. And those of the board that may not be able to log in today, we thank you and recognize your presence very much, whether you're on the road or you're sitting in your office and at the moment at work. Thank you very much, MC, JCI Senator Joseph Celestine. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ivy. Please be seated. I now have the pleasure to introduce all the renowned and distinguished guests who have taken the time and effort to grace this occasion. Kindly stand as you are acknowledged. From the Kadasan Dusun Chamber of Commerce and Industries, JCI Senator Datuk Ladislaus Maluda, Acting President. Mr. Piyush Java, Secretary General. Mr. Agil Bajarai, Vice President. Mr. Edmund Loh, Vice President. Ms. Diana Mojigo, Vice President. Mr. Fred Gabriel, Vice President. From the Federation of Sabah Industries, President Richard Lim. Vice President and MICE and Membership, JCI Senator Benjamin Loh. From JCI Kota Kinabalu, Vice President Benjamin Choi. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you a brief history on ASEAN. ASEAN was formed at the Bangkok Declaration. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations was formed on 8th August 1967. One vision, one identity, one community was their theme. In a very similar manner, the Association of Senators of Southeast Asian Nations was formed by a memorandum signed in Bangkok by senators from 5 countries in the year 2000. 22 years on, we are growing and moving forward in the true spirit of ASEAN friendship. Moving on to the next event on our program. The essence of great leadership is influence, not authority. Last year, we had a challenging year, and this organization was led by a leader from Indonesia. He believes that the challenging times are the best times to become stronger and to be creative. As the whole world instantly became connected to the virtual meetings, so did ASEAN members who carried out their activities virtually. As the year has passed, let us now virtually listen to our immediate past president, JCI Senator Dr. Parlingdungan Purba, live from Indonesia. Dr. Palin, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Pandikar Amin Haji Mulia, Special Envoy BMPEGA representing Sabah State Government. ASEAN Senate Incoming President, my dear lovely Senator Datuk Dr. Marcos Mojigo of Malaysia. ASEAN Charter President, dear Senator Renato Florencio of the Philippines. ASEAN past presidents, organizing chairpersons Sakinah, senators of the Asian Senate and Foundation, and also my friend Jane Tan from Singapore, members of the Junior Chamber International, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to join you for this morning from Jakarta. I apologize, I'm not able to attend the meeting physically due to the COVID unstable condition here in Indonesia. And when I was elected as the president of ASEAN in 2020, I was deeply honored to have been given the opportunity to lead this outstanding network of GCI senatorship. I felt very fortunate to be given this opportunity, and I also had a special 2 period being the president due to pandemic. It was 2020 and 2021. ASEAN has reached a significant milestone in her history, and we are proud of this achievement. Since our beginnings in 1999, the ASEAN has been based on the concept of friendship and fellowship between GCI senators in the Southeast Asian nations. These values, I take pride to admit, have not changed over the years. The past 2 years, communication with the senators has been enhanced through our monthly virtual fellowship meeting and business presentations. I'm happy also that this occasion was attended by business players, friends. Today, I'm delighted that we are able to connect and meet in person at this BOD meeting to install the president of the ASEAN for 2022. Today, now, I'm currently as the chairman of the ASEAN Bilateral Committee in the Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or Indonesia, we say it is KADIN. Under my new portfolio, I will really give my support in all our future activities. I hope at this meeting, we will meet the reconnect, the remarkable brotherhood that we share within ASEAN. As I hand over the presidency to Malaysia, I thank all who have served the ASEAN. In particular, I recognize the efforts of our past presidents, their board members, and those who have served in the BOD. Their contribution has enabled the ASEAN to flourish and give a firm foundation for the future. I believe that the ASEAN will get the world's attention and will be the engine to fuel the world's economy. Thus, the contribution to the government and community is our tribute towards humanity, as stated in our GCI creed. In closing, I would to thank and congratulate my team for their outstanding support and committees to excel in the responsibilities. I take this opportunity to congratulate my successor, dear Senator Datuk Dr. Markus Mojigo, from Malaysia to continue to lead this amazing association and a successful years in 2020. Congratulations to the 2022 ASEAN Senate Board of Directors. Enjoy your term and may you all have a fruitful year ahead. My congratulations also to my very good friend from my own country, Senator Yugi Prayanto, for being elected to lead the ASEAN Foundation for 22-24. Wishing you and your board trustee a successful team. Well done to the organizing committee for smoothly coordinating this meeting. Let us continue bridging friendship, and happy Ramadan for our brother and sister. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the outgoing president, Senator Dr. Perlindungan Purba. Congratulations for a successful year. And you rightfully said, the essence of the association is fellowship and friendship. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the highlight of this morning. It is the installation of the 21st President of the ASEAN Senate. May I invite our past President and the first Malaysian ASEAN President, JCI Senator Datuk Aaron Pang, on stage to facilitate the installation. A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. Martin Luther King reminds us of the power we have as leaders to listen deeply and bring people together in discourse. This year, we have with us a gentleman who has been actively participating in the political scene in Malaysia, a 3-term member of parliament, someone who believes in the saying, to handle yourself, use your head, to handle others, use your heart. He truly appreciates the great learning that the JCI organization has done for his overall development. And indeed, he is one of those grateful sons who has given back to the Malaysian JCI organization as much as he could. He is a founding member of the ASEAN Senate and has been the chairman of JCI Senate of Asia Pacific. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage our friendly, generous, jovial, and lovable president, Senator Datuk Dr. Marcus Mojigo, to take his oath of office and be installed. May I now invite our guest of honor, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri, to be on stage to witness the installation. Over to you, Datuk Aaron, to conduct the installation.
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the Association of the JCI Senators in the Southeast Asian nations, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and to defend the organization's philosophy and belief, will uphold and enforce the Constitution of the organization at all times.
By the power vested in me under the Constitution and bylaws of ASEAN Senate, I hereby proclaim you JCI Senator Datuk Dr. Marcus Mojigo as the 21st President of the Association of JCI Senators of the Southeast Asian nations.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 21st President, Senator Datuk Dr. Marcus Mojigo. Photo session, please. Another round of applause for our newly installed president. Thank you, Tan Sri, and thank you, Datuk Aaron. You may please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we now have the board of directors who will take their oath of office. I will invite those that are physically present, and then I will move on to those who are virtually with us. To begin with, may I invite the Deputy President, JCI Senator Jin Tan from Singapore. Honorary Secretary General, JCI Senator Ivy Stanislaus from Malaysia. Chairperson of Social Enterprise and Entrepreneurship Development, JCI Senator Patricia Poh from Malaysia. Now moving on to our friends who are with us on Zoom. Immediate past President, JCI Senator Dr. Parlingdungan Purba, Indonesia. Vice President Indonesia, JCI Senator Ito Bariomanto. Vice President Malaysia, JCI Senator Sunny Yap. Vice President Philippines, JCI Senator Herman Gamboa. Vice President Singapore, JCI Senator Jenny Ho. Vice President Thailand, JCI Senator Detchard Jeffrey Panikul. General Legal Counsel, JCI Senator Mayor Hussein Amin from Philippines. Honorary Auditor, JCI Senator Linda Tien from Singapore. Chairman of the ASEAN Foundation, past President, JCI Senator Yugi Prayanto from Indonesia. Chairman of the ASEAN Business Committee, JCI Senator Dr. Alberto Phoenix Jr. from the Philippines. Now, the President will witness the oath of office led by the Secretary General, Senator Ivy.
Please raise your right hand. My fellow board member on virtual, please raise your right hand. I do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully serve as a member of Board of Directors of the Association of JCI Senators in the Southeast Asian nations and will, to the best of my ability, serve as a living example of this organization, philosophy and belief, and will uphold and enforce the constitution of the organization at all times.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the ASEAN Board of Directors for 2022. This is indeed a high caliber team that will be leading ASEAN Senate for the year. Can we stay on stage for a photo session with all of them behind? Another round of applause for the newly installed Board of Directors. Thank you. Please be seated. One without the mask. Okay. One for the album. Thank you. Please be seated. It is now time for the newly installed president to present his aspirations for the organization for the year ahead. Datuk Marcus, please. I didn't ask you to sit.
Thank you, Joe. Outstanding MC this morning. He had been practicing the whole night last night, I suppose. Had you, Joe? First of all, I would like to thank our guest of honor, yang berbahagia, amat berbahagia, Tan Sri Pandikar Haji Amin Mulia, and all the his delegates, I mean, whatever assistants around here. Sorry, I don't have to mention the name. I know Dr. Yap's here. And also my friends from Singapore, headed by Richard Ho, David So. Where's David? Oh, David's there. And Robert Ng, who will be chairing the Business Council, was our Deputy President, Jin Tan. First, I would like to appreciate and thanks to Senator Saki for having this wonderful function this morning. And I wish everybody happy Ramadan for those who are having puasa today, especially the Indonesian counterpart and our friends here, the Muslimin. Selamat berpuasa, ibadah puasa. And also the Christian, happy Easter. Is coming Sunday is Easter for Christian. And for those thinking of Aramaiti, the Harvest Festival is coming very soon. Happy Harvest Festival much early. Today, I'm not going to elaborate much because my past president have mentioned a lot about ASEAN Senate Tan Sri. But I would rather make it a free speech today. And I hope those in virtual will be able to understand, because I will mix my speech this morning in multilingual, except maybe for Tamil and Chinese, I wouldn't be able to speak that much. And my wife is here with me, and hope you will watch what I'm speaking. As I said last night at my house, although we have already graduated in JCI institution, we are now a person that we considered in Malaysia as the citizen of the gold. In Malaysia, we call it warga emas. So that's why if you look at Senator Leo Wei, has become stronger after having so much dancing last night. So this is the intention of having this function more on fellowship rather than too formal. So that's why I've been telling Saki, I don't want to talk any formalities. Yeah. So before that, I have to apologize to our members from Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, in Vietnam, for unable to make them here because of this situation of pandemic, Tan Sri. And I have to, Saki wants 200 people here and have a dinner tonight. I said, no, otherwise there will be a lot of instruction or standard operation procedure need to be, practiced. So I said, limit it to 50 people. Get Tan Sri, then involve our members from the participating country, like within ASEAN. And also, I hope, I don't know, we have Ivy from ASAC, from the Caribbean, Senator Norweta from Caribbean and American, Tan Sri, here participating through the visual. Is there our ambassador to Asia. And also from the South African and Middle East, Senator Riyad. I don't know which Senator Riyad, is it in or also participating on this visual today? And I think some of the members that I couldn't remember, quite a number of them, Tan Sri. So before that, I would like, why I invite Tan Sri to come here, fellow members, because Not because he was my boss. It is because it's something to do connecting with business within the ASEAN, the BIMIAGA, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, the East Asia Growth Area. That's BIMIAGA stand for. Of course, he was the speaker. He's representing Malaysia because we are Malaysian. We are representing Malaysia. We are not representing Sabah alone. And I hope Sarawak, my friend from Sarawak, Semenanjung, will not look at us as we are representing only Sabahan. Okay, so we are presenting Malaysia. That's why we invited Tan Sri as former Speaker of the Malaysian House. He was a former minister in the federal. He was also the former minister in the senior minister in the state at that time. So he is now involved with young people in our group. So consider ourselves young, minus 30 years old, and we are very young. So tonight, I'm inviting you to the rooftop and we have a band. We're going to dance, okay? So because I'm not going to say anything about politics, although they see me as a politician, but let us not be too formal. Otherwise, people look at me as talking the male cattle poo or dung. They said they were bullshit. So I will not say anything about what are we going to do. And sometimes they said, some people think, because I cannot speak because these people are entrepreneurs, they are businessmen, they are intellectual people. So don't let me speak to the intellectual people about banking, about business. Like David is here, he's a banking man. So I cannot speak that one. Otherwise they will say, he's talking the male chicken. So I cannot be, they will painting me as a, he's talking cock. I hope he is not referring to this one. He is referring to the male chicken, is all right. And he said, if I talk something nonsense, they said, the hell is all bleeding. I said, bloody hell, what is he talking about? So I hope the hell is not bleeding today. So today I will cut short, MC, because I'm not going to say anything, but this is the last thing I want to say. I'm a very ambitious man. Whether it is possible for me to achieve it or not, this is what the members want to hear from me. I know that. So our team today is, the second one is the Brotherhood of Men transcend the sovereignty of nation. That is what I want to do. And of course, when I post one time, I said to the Secretary General, I said, to live is to love. And that's exactly what we are here today. So let us be a family. So let us, without mentioning which nation we come from, we are family, Datu Zahara. So this is what we want to do. So as a family, my first priority is to go for membership drive. So I hope the Malaysian will recruit more members. So that's what I have given challenge to most chapter to join the ASEAN, because although there may be some objection from the main head, the JCI headquarters in US, but we in Asia, we do our own way. So I hope Jean will support me on this. And the second, mostly we're planning a second board meeting in Nusantara. So I'm hoping that Tan Sri will be able to join us after we get some news from IRA, from the Kadin, Indonesia, when Jokowi, the President Jokowi, happened to visit Nusantara. So we all go there and meet Jokowi. So it is on the video. So I hope Jokowi will read what I am saying. And of course, during the visit, the last visit, we were in what? Marapi. So Jokowi was there at that time. So we were not able to meet him. So this time in Nusantara with the business group from Malaysia and Singapore, maybe. I hope David, you come along with us. when we're going to visit in Nusantara. Yeah, that will be the second board meeting there in Indonesia, and maybe after that we are going to enjoy in Manado. So that is the place. It's a very interesting tourist spot to see, apart from Merapi and in Yogyakarta. So the third one will be, if Thailand cannot host the third meeting, then we will change to Singapore. I hope Jean is prepared for this. I'm waiting for Jeffrey in Thailand to host the third meeting. Or we put Singapore the last board meeting, because the next president is from Singapore. So either if Mayor Hussein, Mayor, are you ready for Zamboanga, the third meeting? If Mayor Hussein is ready, then we go to Zamboanga, yeah, the third meeting. Please take note of this day. And why I really want to go to Thailand, because I have spoken to Jeffrey about visiting the members in Myanmar by road. If we can go by road and we can go to Nagaland, it's very interesting to go just next to Myanmar and Nagaland. And do you want to get the members in Myanmar that has not been active for very long time? And there are two countries again that we have not been very active. Senator Sheila from Cambodia. We have to visit Sheila to upgrade what is the membership in Cambodia and Laos. Vietnam, we shouldn't have any problem in Vietnam. But these are the three countries that we have problem. So this is the plan that I want, whether we can achieve it, whether it's possible to achieve this ambitious program. We'll leave it Jintan to Senator Jintan to assist me on this, because he's nearer to Thailand and Myanmar. Okay, Jin. So that's it today. So as a guest of honor, thank you very much. He was asked what Dr. Mahathir said. He was a speaker, but he was not allowed to speak at that time. But when I was speaking, he get very annoyed with me all the time. In early morning, I greeted him in Tausug or in Bajau language. He said, Putatan, jangan irritate saya pagi, don't irritate me early morning. I said he was very angry with me. So, and he's the one, the very passionate man. If I were in his shoes, I would have collapsed, because to control the members of parliament speaking, you know, members of parliament sometimes in the house, they have no discipline. So he's have to discipline the members of parliament, including me. I was very naughty. That's why the Prime Minister called me a Sabah Mafia. So, so this is not easy for his job at that time when he was a speaker. But although Tun Mahathir said he's a speaker, he's supposed to speak, but he cannot speak. So only MPs that speak most of the time. So with this, thank you very much. God bless you all. Happy morning. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our president for a speech off the cuff from the heart. Today, we have in our midst a leader who believes a wise man is one that doesn't look back. You just have to put the past behind you and find something better in your future. This gentleman has been an active player in the political scene in Sabah. He was born in Kota Blut, and prior to his tertiary education in UK, he was at Sabah College. In UK, he graduated from the Wolverhampton Polytechnic and was called to the bar in Lincoln's Inn. At the young age of 27, in 1982, he became a member of the Sabah State Legislative Assembly. Since then, in a span of 40 years, he has had many twists and turns in his political journey. He has always looked at the bright side of things. He was chosen to serve as the 8th Speaker of the Malaysian House of Representatives from 2008 to 2018. He is currently appointed as the Sabah State Government's Special Envoy to Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines East Asian Growth Area, also known as BIMPIAGA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor, Yang berbahagia, Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Pandikar Amin Mulia to deliver his address. Tan Sri, please.
You want to you to do yourself?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, President, for escorting him.
I can't see the MC because of this speaker. Ya, man. Terima kasih, Saudara Pengacara Majelis OMC this morning. Selamat pagi, salam Sabah Maju Jaya. Terutama sekali, I would like to acknowledge, of course, the just installed President of GCI ASEAN Senate, yaitu yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Marcos Mujigo and Datin, the Deputy President of GCI ASEAN from Singapore, Senator Dintan, the immediate outgoing president. I thought that my name is luar biasa, Pandikar Amin Mulia. I thought luar biasa, but the name of your outgoing president, Senator Perlindungan Purba. When I was reading that name last night, and I said, my God, this is a beautiful name. Also, I would like to acknowledge all the vice presidents of GCI ASEAN from Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Philippines. And of course, I will never forget the organizing person, because without her, you will not have this Majlis this morning, and the rest of the just installed board of directors of GCI ASEAN. Now, how to talk to individuals who are trained to be good speakers of the CAF, an association whose members are prominent individuals in their own fields, businessmen, professional doctors, lawyers, politicians, and whatnot. So I was thinking yesterday whether I will draft a speech. I will read the speech. And if I were to do that, then of course I will be doing injustice to you all. Now, this is what I have to say this morning to you all. GCI ASEAN senators, I think roughly in January. That was in January. I received a call from my PA, and she said, Tan Sri, there is a letter that I received today addressed to you, inviting you to grace an event in Kota Kinabalu. And she did tell me the date. That's on the 22nd of February. And my immediate reaction was, who is the signatory of the letter? In what event? And she said, from that Dr. Marcos Mujigo, does that name rings a bell? And I said, this is serious. And I said, what? Rings a bell? That name, Datuk Marcos, Dr. Mujigo? And I said, he and some of his friends almost did permanent damage to my right ear. For 10 years, from the year 2008-2018, Datuk Dr. Marcos Mujigo and his friends would not hesitate to rise from their seats, shouting on top of their voice, Tan Sri Speaker, Tan Sri Speaker, Putatan, Putatan. Sini, sini, sini. He wants to attract my attentions because he would want to debate things that close to his heart. Now, this happens for 10 years. And I'm talking about 222 members, including the ministers. Now, when my personal assistant asked me whether that name rings a bell, and then I said, it is not one ring of a bell. That bell has been ringing for the past 10 years during 2008, 2018. And of course, I was asking, and I said, what event that he wants me to grace, or he wants me to be the guest of honor? Because I didn't know. And my PA said that it's something to do with ASEAN GCI. And of course, I know a little bit about this esteemed association. And at the same time, I was wondering if I can also use that words that he just used just now. And I said to myself, why the hell does he want to invite me for? You know, for what? Because I know that Dr. Marcos Mojigo could have invited anyone in Sabah, including the chief minister or any other minister, because I know him. He is a prominent politician in Sabah, 3 terms member of parliament. He knows almost everybody in Malaysia, from the prime minister, former prime minister, Najib, to all the ministers in the state. I know he can do that. But I was wondering why the hell this guy, this friend of mine, would like to invite me to officiate a function that is very important to himself, because he is an incoming president. I said, if this guy wants publicity, why doesn't he invite the chief minister or any other senior ministers? And in that time, of course, I didn't think of my post. My new post is a special envoy to Bimiaga of the state of Sabah, because it was not stated in the letter that he wanted to invite me because he wanted to connect something with Bimiaga. And I was thinking at that time that I thought this guy must have a hidden agenda. Either he wants to put me in the limelight again in politics, because a function like this, of course, it will attract publicity, particularly if the person that you invited are well known for his controversy. He will talk nonsense sometimes. I'm well known for that. And that's the initial thought that I thought. I thought about that maybe Safran, he wanted to put me into the limelight again. On the other hand, I was thinking that he wants to put me in trouble. Because if I were to say wrong things in a functions like this, and I will find myself in trouble. And as you are saying, Mr. MC, for the past 40 years of my political life, I've always been in trouble. More times in trouble than in warm waters. Now that's the agenda that it has. Now I was told that after this installation, that we will adjourn into a next room, and that room will be a seminar. And it's something to do with Bimiaga. And I think I will stop here because the subject matter will not be discussed here, it will be discussed in the seminar room about business opportunity in Bimiaga. And I think I will reserve my opinion during that seminar. And from there, you will know what is Bimiaga all about, because when I was told that I'm also free to invite from Bimiaga side, so I suggested name of a person that has been guiding me or giving advice what has been happening with Bimiaga in Sabah, because he's been in the business council for years, and he's now the pengurusi of Malaysian Business Council, I think I call, from Sabah. So Kalmusun will be also presenting slides, I think, in our seminar. Sekali lagi saya ucap terima kasih kepada mantan wakil rakyat Parlemen Putatan yang telah sudi untuk menjemput saya sebagai tetamu kehormat pada pagi ini. Dan believe you me, this is from the deepest chamber of my heart. I think you deserve to be the president of these associations. I read about your commitment in this association, and I think your colleagues in this association is made the right choice. And you have already stated your missions that you would like to do. Your first mission is to increase membership. And the second one, of course, it's going to be a very interesting one because you want to bring your members. You also invite me to go to the Nusantara, that is the new capital of Indonesia. And I was almost there I think last week, because I got invited by two ministers, the Minister of Civil Affairs, Dr. Maximus Ongkili, and the Minister of Economy, Dr. Mustafa Muhammad. They headed the delegation to go to Indonesia to just to find out what would be the impact, economic impact, political, social of that new capital that is to be located in Kalimantan. So I was in that group. But unfortunately, in inverted comma, I was very unlucky. I made up my mind when we were in Balikpapan. I sought the permission of the head of delegation, that Dr. Maximus Ongkili, and I said, can I be excused? And I said, where do you want to go? And I said, can I be excused? I do not want to go with you to that ground zero, because I said I would like to go to some other place in Indonesia for a very serious business pertaining to Bimiaga. So what we did was, together with Carl and a few of his friends from the Business Council, we left Balikpapan, then we flew to Makassar, and I didn't know that the distance from Makassar, this is in Sulawesi, to the place that they brought me, that is another province in the Utara, Poliwali, Mandar, and it's about 4 hours drive. And I will talk about it in the seminar later. Jadi sekali lagi saya ucap terima kasih because you give me the opportunity to talk nonsense in front of your prominent members in this eminent association. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Tansri, for that light-hearted sharing. We will continue to have you later to share more serious thoughts on Bimpiaga. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of part 1 of today. Before we move on to the next part, I would like to acknowledge certain people who are with us on Zoom. From BEBC Brunei Chairman, Pangeran Haris Haji Duraman. From the Provincial Government of Sulawesi Barat, Kabupaten Polewali Mandar, YB Bupati Muhammad Ibrahim Masdar. The BEBC Board of Directors for the Bimpiaga Business Council from their respective locations, Mindanao, Tarakan, Pontianak. They're all joining us live for this session. The president just got installed and he has already kick-started his first project, the Business Forum. It's my pleasure to invite the following people on stage. The Vice Chairman of the ASEAN Business Committee, Senator Richard Ng from Singapore. Bimpiaga Business Council Chairman, Mr. Carl Mosom. Our newly installed President, Datuk Dr. Marcus, will accompany our guest of honor, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri, on stage. To start this forum, may I invite the ASEAN Business Committee Vice Chairman from Singapore, Senator Robert Ng, to give his opening remarks. The floor is yours, Senator Robert.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. Tan Sri Dato Sri Adinka Amin, Mr. Carl Mosom, Chairman of Bimpiaga, our President, JCI Dato Dr. Marcus, Organizing Chairman, JCI Senator Saki, ABC Chairman, Mr. Bert Phoenix, who is on virtual, and special mention to all those virtual attendees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Our President has set the agenda for the next coming year, and he has so much ambition that I think the ABC would really like to take it up in a very serious manner. He has mentioned about family, and I think it's great to have a bigger family from all over ASEAN, and this will give us a lot of growth opportunities. I'm honored that ABC has asked me to deliver these opening remarks today. And I'd like to give a little bit background of what ABC has done so far. ABC is the Asian Business Committee, and we have been formed early this year to map up what we want to do. So over the 1 year period, we'll be organizing a lot of virtual webinars. We have started off with David So doing the SWIFT. We will be still continuing with the 4 or 5 more seminars, which will be held every other month. Our mission of this network is to create opportunities for all our members, to connect also the JC member itself, to give them opportunities to seek out the growth in Bimpiaga area and also in the ASEAN area. I'm so happy that I can be here today to be part of this organization, to give relevance, inspiration, and opportunities of connection to all our JC members and the ASEAN members. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. Ladies and gentlemen, our presenter today is an engineering graduate from the University of Surrey, UK. An active member in many NGOs, he was in the Karazhan Chamber of Commerce and Industry since 2002, holding various positions and currently the chairman of Domestic and International Trade. A graduate member of IEM, he was recently appointed as the advisor to the Borneo Economic Trade and Promotion Association. He is also the current Bimpiaga Business Council chairman. Please welcome the personable, accomplished, and handsome gentleman, Mr. Carl Mosum, to deliver his presentation on the regional business opportunities of Bimpiaga. Mr. Carl, please.
Thank you. First of all, I'm very happy to be here, but I'm equally nervous. You know, when you go to a karaoke room and you wish to be the first singer, because after that, all the good singers come out, and that is where you stop singing. And how I wish the master of ceremony gave me the first mic from this early morning, and before me, all the learned speakers. So I try my best to deliver what's been tasked of me today. Firstly, a very good morning to Yang Amat Berbahagia, Tan Sri Pandikar Amin Haji Mulia, our guest of honor, the special envoy and advisor to the Yang Amat Berhormat Kota Menteri Sabah. Datu Dr. Marcus Mojigo, congratulations on being installed the 2022 President ASEAN. And Datin, to Mr. Robert Ng, JCI Senator Sakinolin, the organizing committee, thank you for inviting me. Yeah, since the very beginning, I think it was postponed twice, if I recall, and yet she continued to engage with me, and it's an honor for the BEBC Sabah, especially to be invited to speak a little bit on Bimpiaga. Distinguished guests, to all the participants virtually, Bapak-Bapak, Ibu-Ibu from Indonesia, to my colleagues from Brunei, and to the board of directors of Bimpiaga in the 4 country member, ladies and gentlemen, and last but not least, members of the press. So can I have my slide, please? So today I was asked to talk on regional business opportunities, but I probably focus more on what is Bimpiaga. Contrary to what everybody understands about it, I believe there's a lot of misunderstanding or miscommunication, and I try to dissect a little bit and make you understand more on what is Bimpiaga actually is. Okay, I was told by the organizing committee that I'm given 15 minutes. However, I like to compress that under instruction by Puan Saki as well, that it needs to be delivered less than 10 minutes, and I'll try my best. So I'll have this few, what you call subject to talk about. I'll go immediately on Bimpiaga. I do not want to dwell on the history. The sub-region encompasses a total land area of 1.6 million kilometers with an estimated population of 70 million. Apart from 3 key mainland, which is the Borneo Island, the Mindanao and Sulawesi Barat, Sulawesi and West Papua, the sub-region is sparsely divided by the Sulu Sea, the Celebes Sea, Java, and the Banda Seas in the south. But unique to Iaga, I suppose, we exist 2 time zones. So for all of you who doesn't know, between Jakarta and Nusantara is 1 hour time difference, and between Sabah and West Papua is also 1 hour difference. So next, I'd like to touch on institution. I think this is very important so that you understand where we are. The Bimpiaga institutional structure is modeled after the ASEAN institutional framework, sharing a multi-tiered and hierarchical structure. As you know, I am reading from an official blueprint that we organized in the Bimpiaga. The institutional structure delineates the roles and responsibilities of the institutional mechanism. What I want to share here is and give you an overview of our annual meeting agenda. So every column you see here denotes a particular meeting, and below that there will be subgroup. And basically in a year we attend close to between on average 18 to 25 meetings in a year throughout IAGA locations. So the framework basically, again, is a subset of the ASEAN. In light of the fact that the BIMPIAGA initiative is considered a building block of ASEAN economic integration, the BIMPIAGA senior officials meeting agreed to align the period of this strategic plan with that of the ASEAN Vision 2025, forging ahead together. So in other words, this is not a trading block. This is a government initiative cooperation platform on the BIMPIAGA. So all BIMPIAGA initiative will consider environmental impact and seek the sustainable management of natural resources. Unfortunately, we only have this 2017 statistic to share, and due to pandemic, an updated version is becoming of a challenge. We are yet to realize the true significant impact as well as estimated growth as we are dealing another calamity in the Eastern Europe. So these are all interconnected. But what is interesting to share here is the IAGA GDP registered for the first time in 2015 is at USD 287 billion and accounting for 17.4% of the BIM country with a combined population of 75.8 million, basically 19% of the BIM member country. At present, the IAGA economy is lagging behind compared to her national economy. But what is interesting is reported the growth rate of IAGA is better than that of ASEAN at 5.7% compared to the ASEAN at 5.3%. And we hope post-pandemic, this growth will continue to sustain or improve. Next, I'll go to the BEBC. Tan Sri has spoken a little bit on our programs and initiative. I do not want to dwell too much. However, we adopt our own rules and mechanism regarding representation and participation in sub-regional meetings, consistent with but independent of the public sector institutional structure. There are 12 board members. I am representing Malaysia, obviously, and there is another one from Labuan as well as in Sarawak. So these are basically the member board of directors at present. If you can see, to my friends from the Philippines, they have appointed an alternate director in the name of Danica Joytan. For all of you who doesn't know who is Danica, she is the operator of the ASSEAN shipping between Zamboanga to Sandakan. So maybe perhaps Datu Marcus, in future, should you want to do your meeting in Zamboanga, you may sail from the port of Sandakan all the way direct to Zamboanga. By the way, they have been our backbone success story, but the backbone economy of BIMPIAGA between Zamboanga and Sandakan. And contrary, again, to what you all been hearing, we have not received any security scare for the past 27 years of this vessel operating. This is the BEBC Sabah that we have adopted. Okay, now we move on to the main topic, which is the business opportunities. But maybe perhaps I do not want to, like I said, on the interest of time, I'll just like to share some of the photographs that you see on slide. Majority of our members are SMEs, 90%, I would say. The picture you see with the ship, this actually is the first day of the butter trade opening in Labuan. At that time, we had the butter trade operation in Sabah was seized due to security issues. We had the Tanduo case, we had the kidnapping case, and hence the butter trade was seized for a couple of years in Sabah. And when it finally opened, on the consent of the federal government, they only opened up Labuan. So I went on site to inspect, and despite the long absence of butter trade, this vessel was chartered by our trader from Vietnam, carrying 120 container of rice and sugar. And what you see here is the operation unloading a container into a lorry. And then just next to it, it's not in the picture, the kumpit or the traditional wooden ship is on standby to unstuff the cargo from the container. And then the other one, the picture you see on the right, this is another success story, in my view anyway. This is a new noodle factory that just opened in KKIP. And I'm very happy to report here a couple of months back, or rather in January, I think, they just delivered their first 7 container of Sabah noodle, going to Cagayan de Oro. And we made to understand a repeat order is in the process. Below, the two pictures you see there are the visit made by the provincial government of Tawi-Tawi. They came to Qantas with the intention to sign or to negotiate a confirmed volume of cooking oil, which is quite popular in the Bimpiaga market. And on the right to that, IBS factory, the governor himself wanted to purchase, or in the middle of negotiating, 2,000 units worth of IBS completely fabricated in KKIP factory. So these are some of the business activities that is ongoing in Bimpiaga today, or particularly in Sabah. So my next slide, I purposely put this, and I thought I needed to explain or give you an overview what's been hindering our progress in Bimpiaga. I know a lot of you, especially when I'm in a coffee shop, telling me that Bimpiaga is just talk and there's no progress. But believe you me, since the inception of Special Envoy, we have had a lot of progress. And I will show you in a couple of slides. But what I want to share here is not to angkat kaki sama saya punya bos ini, Tan Sri Pandikar. I think there's no need to do that. But in the Philippines, what they have done is they have created what we call a federal agency to oversee all the development of Bimpiaga in that part of the world. I'm on one side in Malaysia. We hope the same would happen in future. And for the Philippines, it's called the Mindanao Development Authority, or MINDA. And the chairmanship of that MINDA status is actually a minister. And today, he or she is the signing minister for Bimpiaga, Philippines. And we hope in future, from a Special Envoy, this status can be elevated to a minister as well. But allow me just to explain to you why this is important for Malaysia. Just less than 1 year, our cooperation, BEBC and the Special Envoy, Tan Sri has worked very hard together with us, and as well as the not only state government, but as well as the federal government. We have already inked 300 million peso of investment between Mindanao, BAM, and another recently, that was 2 weeks ago, Tan Sri mentioned that we went to Makassar on a 4-hour road journey, inking an MOU amounting to USD 11 million. So this 11 million is basically a sea connectivity investment between the port of Tanjung Silopo in Sulawesi Barat directly to Sabah. And this will be the first time, apart from Zamboanga to Sandakan, I think we will have another connectivity direct to Indonesia. I think this is good news to a lot of traders. And if you ask me what are the business opportunities, I'll give you that idea to work on. Today, we have one businessman in Jakarta who is actually from Kapayan, not far from this, from KKCT. He's residing there and doing business, doing import and export business. Most of the stuff that he imports today are plastic goods from Tomher. Monthly, he is supposed to import something like 20 to 30 TEUs, and that's 40-footer, by the way. Unfortunately, because of sea connectivity issue, this container has to travel from KK Spanggar to Bintulu, to Port Klang, and sometimes to Johor, and then waiting for the mothership to collect to go to Palindo Port in Jakarta. So that is basically works out to be between 2 to 3 months. As I said, his request is actually 20 to 40 container per month, but unfortunately that is the case today. So we hope to get your support. If there's any investor here today, we are very happy to talk with you how we can facilitate and complement this investment between the companies from Sulawesi and in Sabah. So I'll just touch on the pictures. The A, B, C, D, E that you see, it has been my or our initiative for the past 6 years, 7 years now. And as I said, ever since Tan Sri came into being, our progress with the state government and federal government has been very, very positive. Unfortunately, the Kudat to Palawan that you all been hearing about, that is the vessel on top. Yeah, this is supposed to be the Ro-Ro ferry. It's hampered because the investor concerned, the vessel has been commissioned as domestic vessel. They are required to comply with the IMO, and we are still working with the Special Envoy Office on this matter. This is the one that we signed in Makassar, in Sulawesi. This is a ferry vessel with a capacity of 1,400 passengers. So you can imagine 1,000 tourists coming in from Sulawesi going into the shores of Sandakan or Lahadatu. We are still trying to work out on the port facility for this to call. But what we are saying is the tourism dollar that comes into to our shores is very much needed after pandemic. But apart from this, the investor has also committed to call in a dedicated cargo vessel. So again, I call all of you who has businesses in Indonesia to use this service. And good news to Labuan, the picture you see below, this is supposed to be the replacement ferry between Labuan to Muara, Brunei. At present, I understand the journey time is 2 hours. With this commission soon, at the moment it's still in dry dock in Miri. Once it's commissioned, I understand the travel journey will be less by half an hour. All right. So I don't want to go through all, but I think the major issue in Bimpiaga today that we face narrowed to just one, which is security. But as I said, we have been doing service between Zamboanga and Sandakan for the past 25 years. There's no security scare there. What we hear are only isolated cases actually, and we hope the government will look into on trying to synchronize or reconcile with the Bimpiaga National Secretariat on trying to overcome this matter. Because if security is the only problem out there, then my question is, what the hell is ESCOM doing? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, thank you for your ear, and I hope I didn't take too much time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl, for that concise presentation on the overview of Bimpiaga and the business opportunities. Once again, let me welcome our Tan Sri, the guest of honor, to deliver his address on Bimpiaga. Tan Sri, please. It looks like we're going to be here for a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. I thought just now that we will be shifting to another room. I didn't know that this room can make believe sometimes. All you have to do is just put a few seats. Now, that is what I said earlier, that my friend, that Dr. Marcos Mojigo, he had a hidden agenda. One, either he wants to put me in the limelight politically again, or he wants to put me in trouble. Either way, it's fine with me. Here it goes. I am now the special envoy of the state government in the Bimpiaga of Sabah. This is a new appointment from the current chief minister. The story goes like this. Immediately after the 16th election, state election, when the government of GRS took over from Warisan and Yamat Burma Dato' Ajiji was made the chief minister, I think about 2-3 months after he was sworn in, we had a conversation on the phone, and he said he would like to visit me in my village in Rampayan, in Kota Belud. It's about 75 kilometers from Kota Kinabalu. A sitting, newly sworn in chief minister would like to visit a person who was just defeated in that election. At that time, I stood under the ticket of Osno and I lost by 86 votes. Now that is what democracy for you. Eh? So he came. Imagine a chief minister with all the power in his hand would go to a village and seek for an old man and would talk to him for 4 hours. He was in Rampayan for 4 hours. We have talked so many things. One of the things that we talked about very briefly on his way to the vehicles when I was about to set him because he wanted to go back. And he stood in front of me and he looked at me and I said, this is something that I would like you to do. Would you take the challenge? And I said, what is it? Yamat Burma. And I said, to my knowledge, for the past 27 years, this is his words. And as he said, I don't see any development in Bimiaga. Would you like to take the challenge? I was taken aback because not that I do not know anything about Bimiaga. I know something about Bimiaga because when it was set up in 1994, I think I was already a minister at that time of the state. See, I know something about Bimiaga, but why all of a sudden a new chief minister thought about Bimiaga? In the previous chief ministers never thought about it. Why? So when I thought of it and I said, oh God, here is a guy that you look at him, who you underestimate, all of a sudden he thought of something that nobody thought about. And I said, okay, if that is your wish. Now remember, I stood not in his team during election. I was on the opposite team. Yet he came. So you have a person now, a Sabah chief minister will have an open mind, very inclusive. It's just like President Jokowi. The person they defeated, he appointed in his cabinet is a minister of defense. Something new in Sabah. So in January, I think, I received a letter, one paragraph, very simple letter from him, from the office of the chief minister. And the letter contains something like this. Saya, yang amat berhormat, Datuk Adiji Muhammad Noor, dengan ini melantik Pendekar Amin Haji Mulia sebagai penasihat kepada kerajaan negeri Bimiaga Sabah. Just that. And at the same day, I also received a letter from the State Secretary referring to the letter of appointment from the Chief Minister that I've been appointed also is a special envoy. The added that was special envoy, the reason being that Bimiaga is something to do with international cooperation. Now, I was thinking, I said, how am I supposed to advise a Chief Minister? When in fact there is already a current setup of Bimiaga. How do I advise it? And the secretariat at that time was on the 25th floor also in the Chief Minister's block office. The secretariat is under the State Secretary, Deputy Secretary. To me, it's a challenge. So the first thing I did was to find out what has been done by Bimiaga since 1994. And with the digital technology nowadays, it is not hard to find. If you want to know anything about Bimiaga, you just Google and you will find this Bimiaga Vision 2025. It's all in here. It is documented. It's all in here. All you have to do is to understand. Now, this thick document, after I read it, it's very simple. Simple in the sense that the objective of Miaga is stated by Carl in his slide just now. There are 4 sectors of economy that the government, the 4 nations that said Miaga, they said that they want to emphasize on. And they also identified the areas that they would like to help. That had happened that on the Malaysian side of Miaga, Sabah in Sarawak has been identified as a wilayah or a territory that is backward. Brunei came in, not because they are backward, no. But since Brunei is our close neighbor, they also want to participate in Miaga. The way I see it, now, I'm talking now not an economist, I'm not talking as a businessman, I'm talking as a person that is being appointed to a post that I didn't know about. In my appointment, it is not stated. It is not stated, I was not given a guideline, what is my scope of duties. Meaning what the chief minister did was he just handed over to me a gun and he didn't tell me who to shoot and how to do it. That's how I see it. See, he want me to look into why Miaga failed for the past 7 years. Now, Brunei in. So as far as on the Philippine side is concerned, also the territories mentioned, that is Mindanao in Palawan. In Mindanao is of course within the Muslim area that is being in political trouble. Now on the Indonesian side, it is specifically mentioned Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and of course Maluku and some part of Papua. It is specifically mentioned. And of course Labuan also is mentioned. That is the reason when you mention Miaga in Malaya or Semenanjung, Malaysia, or the members of parliament talk about it, those politicians on that part of the world does not understand what Miaga is all about because it is specific for Sabah in Sarawak in Labuan. Now, the objective of Miaga actually is to enhance that 5 pillars of sector of economy that has been mentioned. Connectivity. What is connectivity? Connectivity means you can connect from wherever in the area of Miaga, either by sea, by land, or by air. Now, it is not only Miaga that is being set by ASEAN leaders. There are so many bodies. One of them, of course, is ASEAN. Another one is ASEAN Economic Community. And it's all documented what are the purpose. And if you look at it, the only thing that these leaders of ASEAN think about is there must be a free flow of goods. There must be a free flow of everything. There must be like European community. They like to talk about it. But how do you have a smooth connectivity if you don't have infrastructure? If you don't have the ferries? If you don't have the airports? If you don't have the seaports? How do you do that? How do you achieve your objective? So I found out from Miaga there are flaws in it, particularly the structure of power. Now, Miaga, Malaysia is a member, but the central power is located in Putrajaya. And the person who is in charge is the Minister of Economy. When there is a meeting among the top leaders of ASEAN, and the President of Indonesia will be around at that time, the Sultan of Brunei will also talk, the Prime Minister of Malaysia also talk, and of course the President of Philippines talks. When they talk, it is the advice of those ministers concerned who actually think about the big picture that is the interest of the 4 nations. They don't talk about the micro of Miaga in Sabah, Sarawak, Sulawesi, Kalimantan, and in Mindanao. They never talk about it. Now, I should be speaking not to the businessmen, or not to people who understand, because Carl is a businessman, he understands. You see, these businessmen, they understand. You don't have to tell them what to do, what to sell, you know. But if you don't provide the infrastructure, what can you do? So whose fault? It is the fault of the government. It is so the fault of the government civil servant who does not understand how the mechanism works. Now, I give you an example. You see, it's frightening sometimes. When you talk about what are the business opportunity that has been stated by Carl briefly, actually UMS did a study in 2018. Now ask yourself, how many government civil servants, starting from the state secretary, in all the SUT permanent secretary of Sabah who read this, who understand their role. You see, Dr. Marcos already start putting me in trouble. But then again, for the sake of the chief ministers that he entrusted me with a challenging job, and I hope they should get wide publicity, I got to say this. Either it will put me in prominence again or put me in trouble. That is the risk that I'm willing to take. Now, it's all stated here. All the business opportunities are here. Now, the current one that I found out is a survey done by Kurnia Arif, also from UMS, very recent. Now, the name of this survey is Relocation of Capital City, Contemporary Research on Impact on Borneo Economy. Meaning, what would be the economic impact when Indonesia relocate its new capital? It is stated here, 60% of those people interviewed said that it will have a good impact. In this one is also very interesting. It was done in December 2018 by University Malaysia Sabah by Idris and Rafiq. Sabah Kalimantan road connectivity, the effect of common border on export. Now, in Malaysia, those people on power who are in charge of those budget, how much were to given to Sarawak or Sabah, in Putrajaya. When President Jokowi decided that the capital of Indonesia to be relocated to Kalimantan, all the Indonesians were thinking that Kalimantan is an Indonesian territory. They never think that it is a Dayak territory. They never think that Kalimantan is a very remote area. They never think of that. So the whole Indonesian supported, because the reason given, you cannot deny it. Because Jokowi is saying that we go to move from Java Island to Kalimantan because of the conditions, sometimes the weather is unpredictable, the flood, the gempa bumi, all these kind of things, then why not put in Kalimantan? Have you been to Kalimantan? My God. You can never imagine it because it's a huge place. Dia punya population bukan ramai sangat. Yet, Google again, now they are 1,777.6 kilometers of road, semua kena tar. Dalam 3 provinsi, yaitu Kalimantan Selatan, Kalimantan Utara, dan Kalimantan Timur. They've done it. Whereas here on our part in Sabah, Malaysia, baru 39 kilometer of road connecting from Kalabakan to Serudong. Even that also, our politicians are still fighting how much money is to be put in. Imagine. Now I'm already in trouble. See? Can you imagine?
For the good.
In September 2021, the Chief Minister of Sabah made an announcement after he chaired a meeting with Sedia. He announced that he said the federal government agreed to give 600 million to develop CIQS. That is in Serudong, bordering with Indonesia. 600 million. That was announced by him in September 2021. But recently, I read a statement from a Malaysian senior minister, Fadela. And I said the 600 million is not there because the federal government doesn't have any budget. What is this? What is happening to us? Our neighbor are serious in trying to achieve the objective with Bimiaga. In this document that we signed and participated in doing it, we are not doing our job. Why? Because we are busy on some other things. We are busy of positioning ourselves. What will be opposition next? Where is the president of Philippines? Is in a hurry. Duterte is in a hurry because he's running out of terms. Jokowi also another 2 years. I think our political system should be like that. Now, like I said, about 2 weeks ago, I got an invitation from Dr. Max. Before that, he met me twice. We talk about Bimiaga, meaning he understands Bimiaga. And I said, Dr. Max, you are the right person now because you are minister in federal government in charge of Sabah and Sarawak. Therefore, this is your responsibility to make demand because you are in there. And I said, okay. Now, after I received my letter of an appointment from the chief minister, I studied the structure of Bimiaga. Now, there are 2 structures, power structures. On the federal side, the person in charge, of course, is the Minister of Economy. That's under the Prime Minister Department and the Prime Minister of Malaysia, also the Minister of Kewangan. So they're in charge of the budget. So what I did was, out of my own initiative, I made an appointment to see Mustafa Muhammad. He gave me the appointment in Parliament. And I went to Parliament. I surprised everybody, but because they thought when I went to Parliament at that time, that I would like to be a speaker again. I say, all those members of Parliament from DEP in opposition, they came to me and we start talking nonsense again. They said, Tan Sri, we miss you. And I was thinking, oh, this is all bullshit. But I mean, you hated me that much at that time for 10 years. Now, the first time you miss me, human is like that. When you don't see a person, that person is still alive, you never care. When that person is dead, and you say, oh, we missed that guy, you know. So, Mustafa Muhammad sit in front of me and said, I think he still respect because I was a speaker for 10 years. And I explained to him, Bimiaga. And I said, Yang Berhad, I've been appointed a new special envoy in Bimiaga. Please, this is the structure. And I said, what do you want? I brought a letter and I said like this. I said, the way I see it now, there is a flaw in the structure of power. Because I said, in the Bimiaga objective, the specific attention should be given to the areas that are backward, that is Sabah and Sarawak. But during meeting, ministerial meeting, or top-level meeting, no politician or those people in power from Sabah are brought in that meeting. I said, it should be done this way, my opinion. Whatever policy that to be made, since Sabah and Sarawak is the subject matter of Bimiaga, that opinion must be from bottom top. Go. Not from up. You tell us. I said, change. We want to propose to change the structure. Now, that is the federal structure. On the state structure, the chairman of Bimiaga is the chief minister. The secretariat, at one time it was in EPU, but it was transferred to State Secretary Office. The facilitator, the office of facilitating office is in the hand of the Deputy State Secretary. Now, he's a busy man. Of course, no chief minister of Sabah attended any Bimiaga meeting. because he has a lot of things on his plate, on the table. In no government civil servant will dare to tell what is happening on the ground, tell the chief minister that it is happening. What he will tell the chief minister is what the chief minister want to hear. That's the reason why Bimiaga in Sabah failed. Now, when the state government would want to ask for budget, the budget is prepared by the UPN or APO of Sabah. It is submitted to federal APO. Now, if the junior officer in APO in Sabah were to submit proposal to the APO in Putrajaya, and those people in Putrajaya, they have title Jusa A, Jusa B, whatever, and the person that is bringing it is N41 or N52, they will never look at you. I'm already in trouble now.
It's okay. It's okay.
See,
It's not trouble.
sometimes they will never even answer the letter. And the chief minister of the day also, out of protocol, he will not scream his head off. The only thing is during meeting, he will ask the prime minister, would you kindly please help me? Now this has been the words of all the chief ministers. That's the reason why Malaysian Agreement 63 never erased in the mind of all the Sabahan politicians until now. Why? Because of that attitudes. Jokowi attitude is different. The Indonesian attitude is different because their system of politics is different. Unitary kind of state. You move from one place to another place, there is no difference to them. Because when they gained the independence, they did it together. Philippines, there is a difference in it. Because some of the region are predominantly Christian. Some are predominantly Muslim. Most Muslims populations are all in the islands. Cultures are different. So there's a different scenario there. Now, when I look what happened in Sabah, in Sarawak, and compare that what happened to the southern part of Philippines, Mindanao, actually their situation, I'm sorry to say this, even if you're hearing me, I would say, I think their situation is worse than us. But I was told recently that they said with the new BAM government, B-A-R-M-M, Bangsa Moro land, with the new BAM government, they said we are better off than the previous one, A-R-M-M, because we have more power. According to them, it's just like a federal system that has been created by Duterte. That is, the powers are all given to them, the economy and whatnot. The only thing that's not given to them is the security, army, and police. That is what they say. I've been in communicating with them because I know the chief minister, I know the speaker, I know the ministers in that part of the world, but because of the COVID pandemic, I cannot go. So that's why recently when we were in Indonesia, I took the challenge of Carl and I said, would you dare to witness a memorandum of understanding between our businessmen and the thing? I said, why? Why should I be frightened? And I said, maybe the Attorney General, the Peguam Besar Negeri of Sabah will have a different opinion that we cannot sign memorandum. My God, the nations already signed a treaty, Bimiaga, among the nation, and after that you cannot even have a memorandum of understanding between businessmen. Says, okay, let's go. My God, when I reached that place that you were talking about Tanjung Salupu, and the head of the administration, they call it Bupatin, like a Wakirayat, I was amazed. 7 years ago, they have completed a port, specially designated for Bimiaga. Plane from Tanjung Salupu to Ladatu. It's only about 36 hours. Imagine they have done this. And we have port in Ladatu. But we cannot do it because the MKN, Majelis Keselamatan Negeri or Negara, when they have a meeting, they will advise the chief minister, oh, it cannot be done because of security. But yet people are still coming from Indonesia and Philippines. Our Singaporean friends he is amazed because there is no security problem between Johor and Singapore. I cannot understand that. The Indonesians, they have done this in accordance to achieving the objective of Bimiaga, but ours, when the chief minister chair a security meeting, in one come maybe 3 paku, 4 paku, saya tidak tahu berapa paku, berapa garis. Ini will tell the chief minister yang amat bermuat tidak boleh pasal kita ada masalah keselamatan. Amen. What is this nonsense? You see, if assuming those officers does not have an open mind, they don't have a business acumen in their head, they never think about the growth of the economy, all they think is about closing borders. Bagus lagi jangan ada bisnis, tutup itu airport, tutup semua segala-gala, bermakna tidak ada orang masuk, tapi itu pun ada orang masuk. Karena lipas dan tikus kau tidak boleh stop. You cannot stop cockroaches and all these tikus-tikus masuk. Now, that is the problem thus far that I managed to identify. Meaning, there is a flaw in the organization structure. Because before this, nobody highlighted that. Maybe somebody have identified it before, but they didn't dare to voice it out. Yes. I got to voice it out. Because if I don't voice it out, in other words, I fail that trust that been entrusted to me by the chief minister. And I said, will you take the challenge? He didn't even tell me what is the parameter or my scope of duty. He just appointed me as a special envoy. So to me, my interpretation of that appointment, he just handed me a gun. And I said, you are a troubleshooter now, so shoot any trouble. So now I'm shooting all. Because I can imagine the chief minister will be telling Putrajaya that please change your attitude. Would he dare to say that? But Pandekaramin will dare to say that. See? I will dare to say to Putrajaya, please treat Sabah in Sarawak like Jokowi treat Kalimantan. See, so I'm telling the government civil servant, don't look down at the business council, because the business council has been telling me, they said, Tan Sri, you won't believe it. When we go to meetings, although we are considered as the 5th nation, bermana dia orang ni 5th nation because the 4 nations is already stated. He said, we are the 5th nation. During meetings, they will never look at us. So there was kind of sinister kind of talk that they said ini Bimiaga, they just gather makan-makan, sing, after that go back. So when I first appointed to this post, my wife asked me, said, apa ba itu Bimiaga yang orang datang dari Filipina bawa-bawa itu Indicraft, lepas itu jual-jual sama semua itu kah itu? Saya bilang itulah itu. Because that is the impression that is given by this. What is happening? But if you are not told what is happening by kau nampak itu ferry, you see the ferry, you see all those infrastructure. You imagine 36 kilometer in Serudung, Kalabakan to Serudung. Until now, there is no fixed budget given by Putrajaya. Whereas in the part of Kalimantan, 1,777 kilometer already been done. Beautiful roads in a place that no population that you see. Can you see the difference? And normally, I'm not a business, I'm an economist. People go to where the infrastructure is. Kalau ada jalan raya, ulang akan buat rumah sebelah jalan raya. They will chase that. Now, normally that's what we do. If somebody, if you're invited by a group, it's a guest of honor, of course, you'd like to ask, what do you want you to say? So they have given me what I must say. I mean, such a guideline. So one of the things that I read, they said, you want me to talk about digital economy. Ay, Dato Marcos, can I talk about digital economy when in fact in my kampong there is not even that, what do you call that, pela for internet? Even the basic, the road in water is not even there. Can I talk about digital economy? My God. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I didn't mention that, but then again, also it is needed. You see, if there is no digital economy, there is no digital technology, we cannot have a virtual. I mean, things like that need not be said. It is there. The only thing is you act. Ini press kan semua ni. Mesti dia kasih publicity.
Yeah. That's why I told him I will ask the question that he cannot answer.
So these are the problem that these are the things now that I Minister Neva. First, structure, power structure. What I suggested is that actually the power must be centered here either in Sabah or Sarawak, because in Bimiaga the subject matter in business and the territory of Sabah in Sarawak in Labuan, it must not be controlled by Putrajaya. What Putrajaya should be doing is anything that is done here and passed there, all they have to do is just approve. Why not approve? Why? Are we not part of Malaysia? Are we not like Kalimantan in Indonesia? You see, it's only that kind of attitude. Change that attitude. If you change that attitude, maybe this Malaysian Agreement 63 will change also. It will disappear in the books of or in the mind of the Sabahan in Sarawakian. Change that. You see, another thing is that the government civil servant, if the chief minister of the day managed to think about that there is a failure for the past 27 years, and he know that those people who actually manage Bimiaga the government civil servant must read the mind of their boss, the chief minister. See? So when we were in Indonesia, we had the opportunity of having dinner with the person, the second in command that has been handpicked by Jokowi. In this guy is an entrepreneur. He is one of the biggest real estate developer in Indonesia. And Jokowi did not pick any government civil servant. He picked that guy to spearhead this new transfer of new capital. Because normally that's how the private people think about those people who are entrepreneur. And I was told that this gentleman that is writing there from Singapore is the developer of the depot in Singapore. He didn't say much because that's not the problem that we have. So the government civil servant of the federal government and the government civil servant of Sabah, please try to understand what Bimiaga is about. Because in this literature, what it says is that the engine of economic growth is or are the private sectors, meaning the businessmen. That is the engine of growth. The job or the function of the government is to facilitate. Cuma membantu. So you must facilitate. You must build big airport. You must build a seaport. You must build roads. You must build all those pillars for this internet. You must facilitate. You don't facilitate, the engine does not go. There is no growth. Simple as that. So I think a lot of things that I would like to say, there are a lot of things here, but by now I think you understood that. What is my job? My job is a special envoy. I'm appointed. I've not been told what to do. To me, I've been handed a gun and I will enjoy myself while holding this gun. Who to shoot and whatnot. See, so these are the things that we would like to do, and I have made an appointment to see the Chief Minister after our trip from Indonesia, and I got 2 letters that I brought with me from Sulawesi. I have to hand over to him because I was given to understand when Datuk Safi'i was the Chief Minister of Sabah, he already committed that there must be a linkage between Tanjung Selupu in Lahadatu. In that time, they were already prepared to do it. As a matter of fact, there was already big celebration in Tanjung Selupu, and they showed me the video clip. Unfortunately, when COVID-19 appeared, all of a sudden, then that plan was shelved. So all I had to do is to explain to the Chief Minister of the day that this is what is happening. And I also have messages from politicians that side. So as a Chief Minister, he still is the person that decides. My job is only to advise him, to whisper whatever things that I've seen on the ground, what I feel that he should do. Because if I don't go on the ground, if I don't try to understand the objectives of Bimiaga, then of course I fail in my duty. But I think this Chief Minister also smart. He appointed somebody that he knows will say anything. He knows what is he doing. I mean, after this, maybe I will recommend to him, if I want to resign from this post, I will recommend Dato' Marcos Ujigo to replace me, because this guy is worse. Worse in that kind of sense. If anything that is close to his heart, he will just say it out. So this is our message from Bimiaga today. And of course, he did not tell me from that invitation that we have to give a talk about Bimiaga in the business opportunities. So when I was asked by my peer, and I said, anybody that you would like to invite, because these are the words from the organizers, I said, you inform Carl Musun, because tell him that, of course, give some briefing about it, so that at least you will understand. But those people who are sitting in that seats in front of me, if you're a businessman, of course, you know already what to do. If I were, say, a businessman, and I will be thinking of, 36 kilometers of road connecting Kalabakan and Serudung. That will be connecting to Simbangaris. Oh, Kalimantan is, this. I said, I might as well buy all those big lorries. You know why? Because we were told in Indonesia that the initial laborer that they need to construct those buildings, gedung-gedung besar, they call it, by 2024, you must be ready. They need 1.2 million buruh kasar. Then they will need cement. They orang perlu bata. They need all the plywood. They need all the nails. They need all the screws. They need everything. So, Kota Kinabalu, Sandakan, and Lahadatu are nearer there, rather than they take it from Java or some other place in Indonesia. So I know, I understand the businessmen now in Sabah and Sarawak, they're excited like Carl because they know what to do. But there is nothing that they can do if the government of the day, federal and state, would not facilitate their business. So when we were in Indonesia, I was glad also to find out that the person in charge of Bimiaga in Sabah, in Sarawak, is none other than the Deputy Chief Minister or Deputy Premier of Sarawak, that is Awang Tengah. So he told me, and he said, he is in charge. Because at that time, I had the idea that I would like to lobby to this head of governments in Bimiaga, if they can appoint also special envoy posts in their respective countries, so that I, for instance, that this is what I'm thinking aloud now, that I can sit together with my colleague, my counterpart in that countries, so that we can plan together what to do. And another thing before I sit, that is actually the main obstacles of Bimiaga. These nations, they are very slow in synchronizing their laws. An example, in a ferry terminal that they have done, port they have done in Kudat a few years ago. I think it cost about 7 million Malaysians. And now, until now, this has not been used. Because according to the policies, even in Malaysia, they said that the maritime will not allow ships that is not iron ship or steel. See, IMO. So that is, but my idea is, since Bimiaga impose butter trade, why do you have to impose that strict kind of conditions? And you know pretty well that in southern part of Philippines, in Mindanao, there are so many islands. And they need all those basic things like the food and all those daily needs. And of course, they only can transport it by wooden boats. So when I heard about it, I went to Port Klang. I stood there for about 1 hour. And my God, about 5 wooden boats from Indonesia, from Medan, I think. And they just go to Port Klang. In Malaya, Semenanjung, they can use wooden boat from Port Klang to Medan. In here in Sabah, you cannot use wooden boat. I mean, I can imagine if he was now in Parliament also if he speaks about this. See, all I have to do is just give him all the information. He will. This is what is happening. So I told the chief minister, and he said, "Why that is happening there? And it's not happening." So one meeting, the chief minister sit together with those people in Maritime, and they have to change their policy. So it's an old man. I'm also getting tired of things like this. Sometimes I'm frightened also that I might shoot my foot out of the job. So I think before all this thing crept up into me, I'm also in a hurry to settle whatever pending things that need to be done. Because PYC Ladatu also, Dato' Yong Teck Lee has been saying that he would like Ladatu to be the hubs of shipping. The Sipangar port also, Dato' Faisal was saying that he said, why can't we work together with Bimiaga? They would like Sipangar to be the hub of shipping. And it can truly be done if assuming the federal government is kind enough, change the attitude that they must develop Sabah sincerely. Because if Sabah were to be developed in Sarawak, were to be developed like any other state in Semenanjung, that development in these 2 states would contribute to the economy positively of the nation also. It is not that when we are developed like Selangor or like Penang, for instance, that something drastic will happen, negatively will happen to Malaysia. It's a matter of fact, to the contrary would happen. If these attitudes were to continue like this, then I'm sorry to say that I think Dr. Marcos Bujigo will agree with me that the future generations of Sabah in Sarawak would lose faith in this nation. So with that, I thank you very much for listening. And if assuming that the information that I've given you is not right, I apologize for that, because I've been holding this post for only a little bit 1 year. Even that also, I have to learn a lot of things. I have to do a lot of reading. I just hope the government civil servant who are in the relevant ministries must understand also, particularly the Minister of Agriculture, those government departments, the tourism, those tourism permanent secretary, the Minister of Tourism must understand their roles, how they participate in them. Before I sit, there is another thing that I must mention. And I got to mention this. See, I have read a newspaper cutting yesterday, newspaper Daily Express. The Minister of Agriculture of Malaysia, Dato' Dr. Ronald Kiandi, a good friend of Dato' Dr. Marcos Mojigo. He announced here that they signed a memorandum of understanding between his ministry, Mafi, and the Minister of Agriculture here. And he proudly stated that he bring 1 million ringgit. I mean, I thought that being a federal minister from Sabah, you can do better than that. But since he became the Minister of Agriculture of Malaysia from Sabah, to me, I don't see anything that he did positively. You agree with me?
Yes.
See, now, that's the reason why Dato' Yap is here. You mentioned also about Dato' Yap. Now, when I was discussing this matter with Dato' Yap laughed. And he said, Tan Sri, in my kabon, I have planted more than 1 million pineapple, nanas.
Yep.
Yes. See? So I said, can you brief me briefly what is this pineapple all about, this Minister of Agriculture talking about? And I said, Tan Sri senang ba itu, pasal dia kata, dia ini di Malaysia ini ada 12 jenis. Dia 12 jenis of nanas. One of them is registered di Sabah, yaitu Keningau Diamond. Keningau Diamond is been registered by Dato' Yap. I mean, I got a sample of that thing. Mana, coba, siapa tengok. And I challenge anyone, if this Keningau Diamond lebih masam ataupun tidak manis daripada apa yang dari Semenanjung, Dato' Yap bilang dia kasih berapa ekor sapi saja. Keningau Diamond, registered by Dato' Yap. Jadi kita punya Menteri Pertanian, Dato' Ronald Kiandi, daripada Sabah, dia proud bahwa dia bawa sini 1 juta dan dia mau tanam kuno nanas juga. Dia also planting nanas here from Semenanjung. Can you imagine? I'm not an agriculturist, but then again, the soil in Semenanjung, Malaysia is different from the soil of Sabah. Why can't you use that benih here? The Sabah brand. I don't understand. You see? And I was also told that this coming Hari Raya, that the food will be enough. But when I put my ear on the ground, I heard from those officers from the Jabatan Haiwan in the ministry are saying, no. Now we are groping in the dark because tidak cukup. Now, come on, you close your eyes. Which is true. For the past 2 years, almost 3 years, there is no celebration. No Chinese New Year, only recently. There is no Ramadan, there is no Hari Raya, there is no Pesta. So therefore, those chicken breeders, they can breed chicken in the full swing because there is no market to sell. People do not go to the market. And all of a sudden, just because Malaysia is open on the 1st of April, you think that the chicks will grow in 24 hours? Become a 4 kilos chicken? Boleh tak? Impossible. So therefore, don't lie to the rakyat. If you think that there is not enough food, tell the rakyat there is not enough food. And if you say that you will import that food from our neighboring countries, why? Our neighboring countries did not suffer from this pandemic? They can't say that they can import from Philippines or Thailand or whatever because they're also suffering from that. So, I must warn all the ministers nowadays, the world now is different already, not like before. With this digital technology, even the things that you did not do, people will say that you did it. And after that, you just put your picture everywhere. And all you can see is, well, it's like me, but it is not me. And there are so many things that, of course, I would like to talk this morning, but I think for today, that is enough already. And lastly, I would like to thank my brother, Dr. Marcos Modigo, for putting me in trouble today. I know that I will receive negative comments on my remarks today. One of them I can think about is that they said, hey, why the hell is talking about when he was the speaker in Hantam Putrajaya. Now he is not holding any post the Hantam Putrajaya. Because he cannot speak. I see that. I mean, that would be the negative one. The positive one, they said, this old man is true what he says. You know, we learn a little bit from him. And then another information that I'd like to tell you, Dr. Marcos, is that ever since I hold this post, I'm not alone. I suggested to the Chief Minister and I said, why can't we institutionalize this special envoy office? That Dr. Maximus Wongkili agreed and he said yes. So I requested from the Chief Minister and I said, make it a government department and the Chief Minister department. And I requested a few posts. And he agreed and he has given me 3 posts to date, in those people that I put there, bukan orang calang-calang. So one of them is ni Zul. His last post was the permanent secretary to the Minister of Agriculture in Sabah. And after this, I think we will talk about whether the food is sufficient in Sabah now or not. Whether there's a technology that chicken can be bred in 3 days and become 4 kilos from after it's a hatch. Datu Yap also, I have appointed Datu Yap is a personal advisor to me. And he is not paid by the government. He just want to contribute. Because I am so sometimes disgusted. You know, Datu Yap is been given recognition by the world, actually, by all universities. And he has been made as a Professor Adjunct. But no government civil servant from the relevant ministries, including my friend Datuk Donald Kiandi, goes to Datu Yap's farm or ask Datu Yap what Datu Yap can help him. You compare that minister, that friend of mine, to the chief minister who just sworn in, and I lost an election, and he came to my kampung. We talked about 4 hours in asking my opinion. Compared to this minister who is being appointed from Sabah, here is a guy, a prominent agriculturist, and he is well known for all what he did. He never go to visit his place or talk to him. Even I heard he condemned Datuk Yap. And I will defend those people like Datuk Yap who are contributing to the economy of the state. I don't care who. Thank you.
That was indeed impressive, frank, truthful, and daring sharing from our Tan Sri. Thank you very much for that. We are now, actually, it is supposed to be a question and answer session. We will still keep it open for a few questions. Those of you who have any questions to ask, you have the mics ready. Just mention your name and the country you're from and who you want to address the question to. We are also open to questions from the virtual world. Sorry. Yeah, we have questions on the screen. Oh. I have a question for His Excellency Tan Sri on how Bimpiaga can support. Cannot cease. Nusantara, thank you. Yeah, that question is from Indonesia. Kadin, Indonesia.
Now, before this, I have participated in a few webinars. And what I said in that webinar, I can't remember when, but I think there was one webinar organized by the Wisdom and participated by the Council General of Indonesia also here in Sabah. And I said that Malaysians, particularly Sabahan and Sarawakian, should thank President Jokowi for making a very bold decision and relocating the capital of Indonesia to Kalimantan. By doing so, what he did actually is he brought a business opportunity and market in front of our doorstep. And what we can do is that if our federal government were to reciprocate what President Jokowi is doing, he's done already the 1,700 kilometers of road, a parallel road from Kalimantan Utara to Kalimantan Barat. And there is already a connection. When I found out that now in Kalimantan Barat, there are already 4 CIQS. They call it Pos Lintas Perbatasan Negara, PLBN. Now in Kalimantan Barat, they have 4 PLBN. In Kalimantan Timur, they have 5. In Kalimantan Timur, they have 4. Now they have 9. Now, if assuming our road in Surudung were to be done fast, then what we can help is that maybe the businessmen from Sabah and Sarawak can help, selling all those products that they need for their construction or development and Nusantara with maybe cheaper price, because we are much nearer to the market that thing we can buy and sell to them. So that is the purpose of Bimiaga in a way, that there must be a free flow of goods, there must be a free flow of people and whatever. But that cannot be done without, of course, having infrastructure. Now in that we can help. And maybe there are also things that they need from us, because Nusantara is nearer to us than maybe from Sulawesi or from Java. So we can help each other actually. I hope that answered the question.
I'm sure it does. Thank you, Tan Sri, for that. Any more questions online? Yes, from Singapore.
Tan Sri, just wanted to ask you a question about Singapore, because Singapore is not included in this Bimiaga. How does businessmen in Singapore participate in this development that is happening now?
You see, if I remember correctly, this one book that the former Prime Minister of Singapore said, the first Prime Minister, the late Lee Kuan Yew, and he said, Singapore cannot live as an island. Or for that matter, no man is an island. The philosophy behind that is, of course, in business, there is no limit, there is no boundary. If, say, for instance, all the material things that needed by Nusantara are through Sabah or Kuching, then of course we are also nearer to Singapore. So in other words, these are linkages already. So in Singapore's case, you have that comparative advantage because you have almost everything. I hope that answers your question.
I think I'd like to take another step of the question. Is there any limitation to companies coming here to form the companies and create the business here? Or is it necessary that the company coming here must take a local partner to be in business?
Yeah, I think that it should be done like that. That you must have a local company to go for joint venture, and if assuming a foreign company also that comes in, and you have an expertise on that by your experience and whatnot, I think still the government will accommodate. But it's better that to have a local joint venture partner. I think that is still the policy of the Malaysian government. Maybe about minimum is about 30%, 30-70. It depends who give the capital, initial capital, layout capital, and whatnot. But there is no limitation as far as business concerned, good business concerned. It is not only limited to those people, the businessmen, business community within Bimianga. To my understanding, of course, is that some of those people, this person that we met in Sulawesi, he after we part company in Jakarta, he flew to Korea because he wants to buy his ferry from Korea. So Korea is not part of Bimiaga. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for Carl. Previously, there was two main corridors mentioned for Bimpiaga. They had the West Borneo Economic Corridor and the Great Sulu-Sulawesi Corridor. I haven't seen you mention anything in your presentation. Is it still on, or is there any impact of it?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you for highlighting. And in fact, probably I'll take this opportunity as well to announce that we have recently signed an MOU among the Bimpiaga Business Council to form a third corridor. We call this the Palawan, Sabah, Labuan, Brunei, and Sarawak corridor. So specific to that key states. The two corridors that you mentioned is the official corridor that has been identified by the 4 member country and is still in existence today. In terms of economic activities, I would say the West Borneo Economic Corridor is the most active simply because we are aligned with Brunei on that part. On the other hand, we are looking for more to happen in the Sulu-Sulawesi area, and particular to connectivity, be it sea, air, and land. And the reason why we have a corridor mentioned, there is an existence, an MOU separately signed for the air, sea, and land, where, for example, the airline do not have to fly to hub country airport to service. They can literally choose any airport within the corridor and take up the sector without flying into airport hub. So, for example, I think in my slide I did not mention, we have in future, and is still committed by Philippine Airlines, a direct flight with from Zamboanga Airport directly to Kota Kinabalu. And another one would be the revival of Manado to Kota Kinabalu by Batik Air, correct. The other thing I like to mention, probably from Mr. Robert's question, the other platform that we have, apart from Bimpiaga, the other platform that maybe you can look into is the Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand Growth Triangle, or IMTGT. We have a back-to-back summit with IMTGT, but it happens once in 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. So during this time, the businesses will converge by invitation, of course. But of course, after today, I think I'm very happy that not only as Sabahan, but in the name of my good friend as well, Dr. Marcus has been appointed as the new president of ASEAN, JCI, senators. And maybe in future, BBC Sabah will engage more with not only Sabah company, but as well as Singapore company. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll take one more last question before we wind up. Osi, any question?
Can I take the last question?
Please, the floor is yours.
This question I will direct it to my Chifu. Of course, he can choose not to answer, because this question, he might not have the answer. But somehow, I still want to ask. Joe, how, Tan Sri, how are you going to lure, invite active participation of international businessmen, being your capacity as the envoy of the Bimpiaga? So how would your action to be seen, especially when tonight is supposed to be under the ASEAN, which involve Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, and other countries within? Is it possible for you to organize among the business chamber of commerce to highlight what Jokowi is doing in Nusantara? Is it possible for you? If you don't have the answer, you don't need to answer. You don't need to give me the answer. Thank you.
You know, we've been working together in Parliament for 10 years. This guy is reading my mind. Actually, when I was drafting my speech yesterday, I put all these things in the paper, but unfortunately, a friend of mine called me and I got disturbed by the call because he was talking something that I was not happy. Accidentally, I pressed a key that delete everything and I cannot retrieve. I think on the high side, that was blessing in disguise because I would put myself in more trouble. But to answer his question is this. I was really thinking yesterday that the Office of the Special Envoy must organize seminars. But that one, of course, is something that must be organized in a big way. Because to me, in order to achieve the objective of Miaga, the ministers, the relevant ministries that are involved in the sectors, the 5 pillars that have been identified, must understand their role. The ministers or the relevant ministries, the officers must understand. They don't understand. I'm sorry to say this. Not all of them understand. The federal ministers also and their officers must understand their role. They must have open mind. Therefore, if the seminar is organized by, if my special envoy office is considered as a government department under the chief minister department, then that is organized by the government. So my only obstacle now is I don't have that budget, because when I ask budget from the chief minister's office, this is something that is new. So the government civil servant now who are advising the chief minister are also grappling in the dark. When I was putting the idea with the chief minister, what will be my role, and he was given advice by those advisors that he said the chief minister cannot delegate his power to me is a Miaga special envoy. So since I have already the appointment, I wrote a letter to the minister. I said, sir, I'm now also your advisor. Am I not? And he said, yes. Okay, I said, my advice is, with all due respect, I beg to differ with that opinion. You see, I said, this is only a loose economic kind of cooperation between 4 neighboring countries. And it is not something that is, you know, a treaty, that there is a hard, fast rules. So what I did was, I went to see Mustafa Muhammad and I explained to him. He understood. You see, so I went to see the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. He understood. They give me letters that he said, we are willing to cooperate with you in Miaga, because to be honest, they did not understand also what Miaga is all about. And Miaga, in the territory of Miaga, there are 72 million populations. There is a 72 million market to be tapped. So my first job actually, like yours, you said you want to increase your membership. Mine is to make those people who really have something to do with Miaga, but they don't understand their role in order to have the objective. Because the most important thing to achieve the objective of Miaga, you must have a seamless kind of connectivity by land, by sea, and by air. And that is not done. It's not even 25% in my calculations. So why do you talk about Miaga? And you are talking about Miaga in that document that I showed you, Miaga Vision 2025. It's already now 2022. You see, how long does it take to construct a road 36 kilometers if it is in Serudong? Maybe it will take 2 years. Maybe, because it is goodness knows where, in the jungle somewhere in Serudong. So by then it's already 2025. It's only one road 36 kilometers done on our side. What about our Panbonio Road? All this connectivity. What about the airports? What about some of the ports that we already have are not utilized now? But if the government civil servant, particularly those people in APU who are in charge of the budget, does not understand this, they don't have a kind of, attitudes like I emphasize again. I mean, can you imagine a president of Indonesia? And we were told that this has been already in the pipeline for such a long time, that the previous president thought of it, that you want to relocate the capital of Indonesia. But then relocating a capital from Java, all of a sudden you put in Kalimantan, it's a bold decision, but when the decision is right, it's at the right time, and it takes up, I think the finance is about 43 billion US. And during the dinner, informal dinner with the second person in charge of the development of Nusantara, I was the one that asked question to him. And I said, I'm asking this question because I said, I used to answer a question in Parliament when I was in the Prime Minister Department. Question from the opposition, they said, the expenses that the government at that time utilized for Putrajaya is a waste of money. At that time. Oh, they said, ini cuma membajir kawangan. Why there is a need to relocate the administration center from KL to Tanah Besar? They called that Tanah Besar at that time. That was a remote area. So I used to answer that question because I was in the Prime Minister Department answering on behalf of the Prime Minister. So I asked the question to that Joy, his name. And I said, isn't there now any question from the Indonesian community or businessmen or politician that 43 billion is a waste of money? Why there is a need to relocate the capital in Kalimantan? And it is a remote place, and it is about 43 billion. In his immediate answer to me, he said, Tan Sri, that question is not arise now. But we will be financing 20% out of that 43 billion. In the rest is from private financing. So that is where also part of those people, the banking or the financial sector in Singapore can help finance private financing initiative. It can be done. No financial institution in the world will not finance a development, huge development like that in a country which has a population of over 100 million. Does that answer your question?
Almost.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will close the question and answer session. Let's give them a round of applause. We are now moving on to the presentation of mementos. I would like to invite our organizing chair lady, JCI Senator Sakinolin, to be on stage to give the first memento to our speaker, Mr. Carl Bosom. Witnessed by the President. Thank you very much for your presence today and for your presentation. The next memento is for our guest of honor, Tan Sri. May I request the President also to witness and take photo together. Thank you very much, Tan Sri, for your sharing. It was very inspiring. I'm not sure if you will have your job tomorrow. They say leadership is a series of behavior rather than a role of heroes. Our president handpicked a lady who he believed has the experience and connections to pull through this event. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this lady in red to give her vote of thanks. JCI Senator Sakinolin Mohammed.
when I was asked by Dato Marcus, the president, to chair this meeting, he said he wanted Tan Sri Pandikar Amin Haji Mulia to be the guest of honor. And he said, do you know him? I said, of course I know him, but he doesn't know me. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, JCI senators, and our friends from overseas, thank you so much for gracing this occasion. It has been a pleasure to have you all, especially to our guest of honor. To my friend, Carl Mosom, a very well-known businessman in our society. To JCI Senator Ladislaus Maluda, also my past president. We came from the same chapter. To Dato Yap, thank you for gracing the occasion. We have actually learned a lot today in this seminar and forum. And without the participation of all of you today, I think the seminar and the installation would not have been a happy one. Thank you, JCI Senator Joe, guest of honor, Dato Tan Sri Dato Sri Panglima Pandikar Amin Haji Mulia, the newly elected President, JCI Senator Dato Dr. Marcus Mojigo, and his First Lady, Datin Elizabeth, Chairman of BEBC Sabah Chapter, Mr. Carl Mosom, Vice Chairman of ASEAN Business Committee, JCI Senator Robert Ng, who came all the way from Singapore and he came from Penang actually. And our committee asked, is he from Penang? I said, he just came from Penang. He's not from Penang, but he's from Singapore. So imagine how dedicated our members are, ladies and gentlemen. We travel all over the horizon, more to say, just to be here to witness this auspicious occasion today. Fellow JCI senators from all the Southeast Asian nations who are now watching through the Zoom, thank you so much. I saw the messages on the WhatsApp, on the Facebook. It says congratulations to us, but I think what they are saying all over the world is that there is a brotherhood of men transcends the sovereignty of nations. That friendship all over the globe is important in order for us to do business together. Likewise, for the committee members, we have tried to give our best, but if our best is not enough, we apologize for any shortcomings. And we look forward to having you all again, maybe in a different platform. Yeah, but ASEAN has moved forward to actually move from just a fellowship organization to looking into business. So what our guest of honor has shared with us today, the challenges that is befitting BIMP Yaga, where Sabah is located in the map of the world, is also happening, I think, elsewhere, except maybe some countries are not very blunt, like what Tan Sri has mentioned. But in the Asia Pacific, I think the problem of connectivity is still there, and so is the connectivity between members in the ASEAN. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for gracing this occasion once again, and I hope to see you again soon. Tan Sri, thank you so much for, I know you're very busy and all that, with all the appointment and having the gun to shoot anybody you like, but don't shoot the wrong person. And to my president who entrusted us with the committee to work on this simple but very important project for ASEAN, organizing a ceremony like this is a very auspicious occasion and very important to the ASEAN because it tells the prestige of the organization and the fellowship that entails with when you organize such a gathering. To Carl again and to Robert, thank you so much. And Datu, ladies and gentlemen, have a good day and happy Ramadan. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Saki. Oh. Are you okay?
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm okay. Yeah, no broken leg. Thank you.
I wouldn't take up the OC job again, I think. On behalf of the organizing committee, the president, the board of directors, a big thank you to all of you for gracing us this morning and spending your time with us. It is indeed a pleasure for us to have you, and we are very happy to see you all here today. To our international delegates and friends from across the South China Sea, please enjoy your stay and have a wonderful time in Kota Kinabalu. As a final comment, I would like to share this quote by an American poet and a civil rights activist, Maya Angelou. I think a hero is any person really intent on making this a better place for all people. In this perspective, all of you are heroes, and please continue to make this a better place for all. This is Joseph Celestin signing off as your MC for today. To all our Muslim brethren, wishing you all a blessed month of fasting and prayer. And to all our non-Muslim friends, please join us for lunch. Thank you and have a pleasant afternoon. Those of you who want to take photos with the guest of honor, I think this is an apt time. Dr. Tansri, please bear with us for a few minutes. Those who want to take photo with you on stage. We'll take a group photo. May I invite all of you to join us? Delegates. SG, Patricia Po, all the JCs, please be on stage. Johnson. Lumchiden. Patrick. So you need to announce the departure. Announce the departure. Announcing. Bukan ini tidak boleh dia. Tidak boleh dia.
Don't ask. all my.
Announcing the departure of our guest of honor,
You would be doing injustice to yourself.
Dato' Yap, ya. Okay.